Yeah, what's good, village? Welcome to the lab. As you can see, we got some stuff bubbling up in the back, cooking, and it goes right along with our theme today. Because today we doing the fentanyl freestyle, the magic behind the madness. And if anybody been paying attention, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Fentanyl has been ravaging homes, countries, and just bodies over the last, I would say, 4 or 5 years. And even I haven't been paying close enough attention to it as I have over these last maybe 2 months or so. And it really kicked in when it hit home for me specifically. When I walked into a office and somebody I knew from way back saw me, and apparently something had just happened the day before where they told me one of the homies' sons had just fallen victim to a fentanyl overdose. At that point, I had to do the research. I had to go dig in the crates and I had to figure out exactly what was going on here. Even though I had been watching Ozarks for, about 4 or 5 years already. So I knew what the deal was, and even on there, people ODing on this fentanyl. But I still didn't get it. I'm like, why would somebody even want to take this recreationally? Does that sound fun to take something that people constantly ODing on? So I did my research and I did a little background check, and as you can see, we in the lab cooking, and let's just hit you with a little bit of this freestyle. So what I'm finding out is nobody is taking this really for fun, for recreational use. People who are actually using this, like trying to get some type of relief, specifically pain relief off of it, have already been using stuff like oxycodone, oxycontin, heroin to already manage their pain or whatever else they're going through. So for them, it's an easier transition. But after I hear kids is dying in LA Unified School District, kids is dying in school districts that I frequent, candy is coming up with fentanyl laced up in it. I said, okay, this is a weapon of mass destruction. I need to really figure out what the deal is. And I'm seeing now that people are accidentally coming in contact with this, which is causing them to OD. If you know anything about how drug ODs work, usually they happen when you least expect it. Whether you take in a drug that you usually take in an environment where you don't usually take it, your body is not prepared for what's about to happen to it, and therefore it responds differently. And that's where the OD come in. So that's where it really kicked in for me when I started seeing all these children just ODing on it. And I see all this candy laced with some damn fentanyl, especially around the, not the holidays, but at least around specifically around Halloween. That's when I said, don't take no candy no more. Candy is a wrap. Mars bars is a wrap. It's going to affect a lot of companies because you know Mars owns damn near most of the candy companies out there anyway. But that's how I came into the knowledge. So I had to figure out, well, so where's it coming from and where's it going? And what I found out that it is used in the hospitals through an IV drip. So it's a liquid form. And that's how people are supposed to get it under managed care in a hospital under the IV drip to manage severe pain, and specifically when you're going through some type of operation. So why are people on the streets getting it, and how are they getting took out by it? So this is what's happening. Of course, it always comes down to money. It all comes down to money. So the Chinese usually are cooking up the chemicals to go ahead and send the medical forms down to whoever needs it, whatever country it needs to come from and whatever country it needs to go to. But the illegal aspect of it, they selling it down to the Mexicans, who are then taking it and cutting other drugs with it, namely heroin, cocaine, because it's boosting up their profits. If I could just use a little bit of fentanyl, which is like 100 times stronger than morphine, 50 times stronger than heroin, if I could use a little bit of that to make my heroin stretch or to make my coke stretch, why wouldn't I do that? It takes a significantly less amount to get you higher, to get the same effect than it would if I was cooking it and cutting it with something else, okay? As you can see from the lab back here, that's just how it go. So you got the Chinese connection who's cooking up the original chemical, sending it down to Mexico, who's then doing their thing with it, cutting it into the illegal aspect. And then, of course, where people hurting the most, even though they're supposed to be feeling the best, here in the United States. So the demand is strongest here in the United States. So you got a trifecta, a doozy of a trifecta of how this is going. So it's cooked up, shipped to Mexico. Mexico then ships it through into the United States. So much is coming through that the Border Patrol is saying they can't even stop it because it's coming through so many different means. It's been busts where they said that half the United States could have been wiped out by as much fentanyl as they found. They said that they could have took out, a significant portion of the population 2 or 3 times, either on the coast that they found it in, either busted it in candies, what looked like candy, which was really laced in fentanyl. That's how they sneak it in. So they shipping it and they smashing it through and squeezing it through the borders, and it's literally unstoppable. So when it gets here, if it just happens to come in contact with a child who might think they got an M&M or a Skittle, but maybe it fell off one of these bags that was supposed to go to somebody else. They was going to cook it down. They was going to get the extract from it and then use it for something else. That child falls victim to an OD, just like that. Maybe they thought they was taking an E-pill. And they said, well, we just finna have a little fun. I don't fuck with drugs popping next for the first time. That shit kicked in like a 2-time world champ. Well, in this case, it's kicking in like a 5-time world champ. So they think they have a little fun. They're going to pop a little E and feel good. Guess what? Laced up with fentanyl and then bam, wrapped up just like that. So what is going on when it hits the body? Basically, what's going on is it's flooding your nervous system, and it's telling your sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system, you don't have to operate no more because you already have all the chemicals that you need. So it's going and binding to the opiate receptors in the brain, which are then saying, well, you don't need to breathe anymore. You got all the oxygen that you need, but that's not the case. You don't. So most people are dying because of lack of oxygen. They literally just stop breathing. They go to sleep and stop breathing. So you can observe this. If you see somebody having an OD, you'll see this labored, grunting type breathing where they looking like they sleep, but they're not really asleep. They're struggling to breathe. One remedy that we found to be effective is that Narcan. Narcan, or naloxone as it's also known by, can counteract those effects. And it also has its own effects because it sends you into immediate withdrawal, and that withdrawal can be painful, but it's better than death. It's better than death by asphyxiation. So all of LA Unified junior high schools and high schools have gotten outfitted with Narcan just in case this happens. All of the police force in that school district has been outfitted with Narcan just in case this happens. But you always know we're talking about the magic. It's stuff that you can do to counteract that. That doesn't take any external intervention. Your body already has opiate receptors in it, and you can produce opiate-like effects in a few ways. One, we always talk about, and that's meditation. Deep breathing. Ooh, felt it right there. Activating that vagus nerves, which then helps you to calm down because it's giving your opiate receptors natural opiates. That's one way, just deep breathing, period. But meditation gives you multiple deep breaths, which will give you more of an effect, more of that high. Exercise, simply getting that runner's high. You getting that clean oxygen, you out there running, you pumping it through your body, your blood is pumping it through the rest of the body, it's going straight to the brain, naturally producing opiates. Doesn't take any external intervention whatsoever. And then doing things that you usually like doing that already produce those natural good feelings for you. Being around family, having a good conversation, laughing, retail therapy, even retail therapy, I'll take that over a fentanyl overdose. So all these things are natural. So you got a couple of ways you can intervene. Matter of fact, you got more than a couple. You got the Narcan in case it's too late, somebody already came in contact, and you got to get them back. Hit them with the Narcan, they will go ahead and come back. You can also prevent it. Deep breathing, exercise, laughing, retail therapy, being around people you love, even sex. Sex obviously will produce more opiates than you probably can even handle most of the time. That way you don't have to even get involved in nothing else that you feel like will cause any type of pain relief. Also, just don't even mess with candy no more. Not only is the granulated sugar destroying your body, destroying your immune system, but now you don't even know what's in it. You might get something laced with the fen, and now you tapped out, struggling to breathe. So don't even mess with candy no more, at least for the time being. No colorful candies that come in no bags. Talk to your children about it. Let them know, don't take no pills, don't take no candy from nobody. Trick-or-treating is a wrap for the next couple of years until they figure this out. Okay, the government is already saying this is a weapon of mass destruction, and you can just see by the number of people who are being taken out and the trouble that they have in stopping the inflow of it. It's a significant problem. But we always got to do the magic behind all of this. So what does fentanyl even mean? What does the word fentanyl mean? It's a play on words from its original magical word, phenethyl. Phenethyl. Now let's break that down. First, let's break down fen. Fen you will find in phenotype, phenobarbital, and basically pheno is how something appears, how it looks, its characteristics. That's the pheno. So it's appearing, it's shining, it's opening up, it's revealing itself. Okay, well, we'll take the word shining from all of that. And then you got ethyl, which is just a play on the word ether, which is something that's radical, something that can't be controlled, something that's unpredictable, but something that's also everywhere. So it's unpredictably shiny and it's unstoppable. So if you just put that magic word together, you got the shining radical. It's everywhere. The shining ether. It's appearing like ether. Just listen to that. Remember Nas's rap that he came out against Jay-Z with? That song was called Ether because he was trying to destroy Jay-Z. So think about that in the aspect of phenethyl, also known as fentanyl. So we just deconstructed the whole thing for you. You know where it's come from. You know what it's supposed to be used for. You know the effects that it has on you. You know how to counteract those effects. One, if it's too late. One, preventative. You know to talk to people about it, especially ones that you care about who are most likely to come in contact. That's the adolescents and the children. Let them know, do not be taking nothing in the candy or pill form from people you don't know. As a matter of fact, don't take it, period. And then you know the magic behind the whole science, the whole phenethyl, the fentanyl, the radical shining one, something that you do not want to be involved with. Unless, of course, you get an operation and it's coming through the IV drip. So with that being said, I hope the village has learned something that they can go and take and spread and share to prevent this weapon of mass destruction from continuing to do the destruction it's been doing. But here in the lab, we continuing to build. We continuing to deconstruct so that we can construct. So let us work with it. Let us get the bottles out. Let us pour the chemicals together and let the scientists do that. We'll figure it out. We'll let y'all know because the village needs to be protected. Because guess what? When Baba's not home, the family's in danger. This is Baba Kintu with another one. I hope the village really, really understands and take heed to what we discussed here today and can go ahead and implement it because that's what it's all about, being able to implement the information that is shared. So we're going to catch y'all on the next one. Stay healthy and stay strong. Peace.